Emerald Maxwell reporting. Papers now on the programme. Dipsy's with us for the main story. It's going to start with Emmanuel Macron, aren't we, Dipsy? Trying to take back control of his governance.
That's right. After chaotic parliamentary sessions on debating France's ethics bill and a dip in popularity, Emmanuel Macron now wants to take back control of the steering wheel, according to Le Figaro, the right-leaning paper. Confronted by criticism, Macron is reviewing his method. That's what Le Figaro says, and he wants changes. His party, for instance, is going to settle on its headquarters in September. He's also asked the president of the party's parliamentary group to provide extra training for MPs. Remember, many of them are political novices and still have a lot to learn in the dealings and wheelings of politics. Macron is preparing for season 2 of his presidency. That's what the editors at Le Figaro say. But with it, they warn, come adversity. And this will really manifest itself in the fall when we see some really hot-button issues due to be debated and possible protests following that.
Now, according to L'Opinion newspaper, Macron's chances is going to be enhanced by some favourable circumstances.
Well, there's a current boom in French growth and generally world trade prosperity, which means that he's hedging his bets on the success of 3 of his major proposals, bringing public finances under control, restoring French credibility in the eyes of Europe, and lending support to economic activity in the country. In general, L'Opinion, the right-wing paper, really hails Macron's efforts so far to sort of slash spending. They say they really hail his proposals like adding more flexibility to the workplace, reducing inheritance tax and lowering aid given to housing. Many of these projects are part of Macron's plan to slash 4.5 billion euros in public spending in order to bring France's public finances under that 3% that Brussels has demanded. Yet Le Parisien reminds us of the 4.3 billion of the 4.5 billion, rather, they've only managed to save 3 billion. France, Le Parisien says, has not finished with its belt-tightening.
Now, Libération is looking at something rather different on its website. Just saw it there. It calls fiscal impunity.
The fiscal impunity, in particular, of Silicon Valley tech companies in Europe. They're known as GAFA, so Google, Apple, Facebook, and Amazon. Google may have escaped paying a 1.15 billion euro bill for back taxes, but Libé says the French government are trying to find ways to make the search engine giant cough up the cash. But for Libération, the left-leaning paper, the editors are worried about whether this deal put forward by the French government is really going to go easy on Google, essentially. Libé critiques the failure of European fiscal policy as a whole in making American tech giants toe the line when it comes to their business activities in Europe. And the editors also deplore the lack of European tech alternatives. Europe, the paper says, is playing in the second league. If it wants to exist, it needs to come up with some worthy alternatives to rival Google and other companies.
Should we talk about something completely different? Why not? Le Parisien today, they're looking at government plans to ban aquatic shows. This is aquatic shows involving dolphins.
That's right, dolphins in captivity. There's already a ban on the reproduction of dolphins in captivity. Now, animal rights activists have managed to get a ban on aquatic mammal shows, but now the dolphinariums are fighting back. That's what Le Parisien says on its front page. The government is now examining an appeal put forward by show organizers against the ban. Among their arguments, they say ending these shows would go against the quote-unquote natural behavior of the animals and also force separation between the mothers and babies who are born in captivity. It's a really thorny issue, though, Stuart, one that's pitting aquatic show organizers against animal rights activists. In its coverage of the issue, Le Parisien sort of plays devil's advocate, taking both sides, saying, on one hand, yes, keeping these animals in captivity is cruel and a form of mistreatment, but on the other hand, having these shows will also help the public learn about their plight.
Let's stay on the theme, if you like, of aquatics. One of France's best swimmers, Camille Lacourt, he's called, retired yesterday, retired in style as well.
That's right. He retired. The 32-year-old retired yesterday with a 3rd world title in the 50-meter backstroke race. A goodbye in gold. That's what the French sports paper L'Équipe says, adding that Lacourt's retirement is not a good thing for French swimming. We lose a, quote, unique icon in a sport that desperately needs an icon. With with his, quote, beautiful face and mop of blonde hair, he brought male swimming out of its dusty constraints. When asked what he would miss the most, Lacour said the adrenaline, the atmosphere, of course, and what he would miss the least, he said, the training. I'm fed up of being in the water, he said. But with those looks, no doubt he will have a very successful post-swimming career, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet he never wants to see another tile in his life, because as you're swimming along, that's all you see, tiles.
Or the
it?
whistle.
Or the whistle, yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Dipti. Dipti with the French papers on France 24.